Apple's iPhone 14 series, which includes the standard iPhone 14, the quicker, more powerful iPhone 14 Pro, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max, along with the new SE model, is now available to the public. You can access a thorough review or a hands-on preview by watching the entire video. Is upgrading to Apple's A16 Bionic chip worthwhile? Do you want to spend extra money to get a top-notch experience at Dynamic Island? Please watch the entire video till the end to have more knowledge on tech-related stuff. So, let's get started. Apple iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. On September 7, 2022, Apple held a far-out event unveiling the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. Without the larger 6.7-inch variant, these smartphones may easily be mistaken for their predecessors. Wireless providers are providing discounts on Apple iPhone's 14 series, sometimes even making them accessible. For details on the deal's terms and conditions, consult each airline. Notably, the iPhones of this generation don't come in little forms. Rumors said that there would be a higher demand for smaller iPhones. As a result, the smaller 5.4-inch model was abandoned in favor of the larger 6.7-inch model. Display. The iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13 have nearly identical appearances, except for a few minor color alterations. The aluminum chassis, diagonal rear camera system, and notch are similar. The 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display has a pixel density of 460 ppi. The bigger iPhone 14 Plus is a new model. However, it shares all features with the smaller gadget, which also has a camera hump of the same size, Super Retina XDR, 6.7-inch display with 448 ppi. Similar to the iPhone 13, the displays feature P3 wide color, True Tone, and HDR. The OLED provides a contrast ratio of 2 million to 1 and a brightness level of 800 nits when functioning normally. SIM card slot. The only significant design difference is that the US version of the gadget does not include a SIM card slot. Apple is totally committed to eSIM compatibility, so users won't have to worry about physical cards anymore. Camera. The main camera, now named the main camera after being renamed from the wide camera, now features a larger 12-megapixel sensor, as well as a wider f/1.5 aperture. This allows rapid performance in low-light conditions and improves image capture. According to Apple, this enhances low-light conditions by 49%. The addition of an f/1.9 aperture and autofocus enhances the selfie camera. The selfie camera can take better pictures more quickly when coupled with the depth sensors used for Face ID. The chipset enhancements also allow 4K filming when using cinematic mode. Users can choose between 30 and 24 frames per second to benefit from improved camera performance. Emergency SOS via satellite. The newest iPhones might link to satellites miles above the Earth's surface without using a massive antenna module thanks to special antennas and equipment built by Apple. This system is primarily designed for use in emergencies. Through suggestions, the tool will lead the user and ensure that communication is concise but thorough. Battery life. Despite reports that the iPhone 15 from 2023 will use USB-C, the Lightning port is still present. Apple retained its fast charging speed at 20 watts, contrary to popular rumors that it might increase to 30 watts. As per Apple, the 6.1-inch iPhone can now be operated for 20 hours on a single charge. The battery life of the iPhone 14 Plus is 26 hours. As with earlier generations, MagSafe accessories and charging are also supported. Processor and biometrics. Apple will only use its most potent A16 Bionic chip in the iPhone 14 Pro series. The A15 Bionic is staying put. The processor, not the one featured in the iPhone 13, is only available on the iPhone 13 Pro. It has a 5-core GPU, which increases processing across the board and in specific applications. Thanks to this upgraded processor, the improved 4K cinematic mode is now present on the iPhone 14. The same size notch as the iPhone 13 still conceals Face ID, which has not been upgraded. However, the iPhone 14 can be unlocked in either portrait or landscape mode thanks to iOS 16. Pricing. Both models come in colors Product Red, Blue, Purple, Midnight, and Starlight. Storage configuration options include 128GB, 256GB, and 512GB. On September 16, 2022, clients' orders for the iPhone 14 started arriving at a price of $799. The cost of the iPhone 14 Plus is $899. Apple iPhone 14 Pro/14 Pro Max. Apple maintained the same features across all device classes, just like the iPhone 13 generation. The Pro iPhones offer the same features while being in two sizes. The two are simply different in terms of size and battery life. Apple typically updates its products annually, making minor adjustments to a few specs and sometimes one marquee addition. However, several features relevant to everyday use have been enhanced for the iPhone 14 Pro series. Design. Most people won't immediately notice the changes made to the 2022 iPhone. The device's flat sides, rounded corners, and noticeable camera bump make it easy to identify. This generation's camera hump is a little greater, if only because of all the lenses have improved. In the devices it offered in the US, Apple omitted the SIM card slot. The location of the buttons, speakers, lightning port, and Face ID are identical. Dynamic Island. Face ID was introduced by Apple with the iPhone X. It performed biometric authentication using a set of 6 sensors that were concealed by a notch. The Dynamic Island hides the Face ID cutout while displaying notifications, live activities, and other information. Always-on display. The iPhone 14 Pro may now use its variable refresh rate display to keep it always on, just like the Apple Watch did before it. The iPhone can maintain information on the show by reducing the refresh rate to 1 Hz, utilizing a darkened backdrop and employing darker UI elements. Apple created the always-on display to consume the least amount of electricity while still showing current information. The clock, widgets, and live activities will refresh often. Camera. All 4 cameras were enhanced for the iPhone 14 Pro to let in more light, and the A16 Bionic features are a better picture signal processor. Every picture pops thanks to larger image sensors, a 48MP main camera, and the new Photonic engine. Photonic engine. To move the Deep Fusion process earlier in the pipeline, Apple made changes. For more realistic images, this saves color and texture information. Before now, Deep Fusion was presented as a technique to enhance the detail in medium light images. The iPhone captures several still photos and merges them into one clear, well-exposed picture. Main camera. The 48MP main camera, originally known as the wide camera, features an f/1.78 aperture with sensor size. This is a significant improvement over the previous 12MP sensor, but because of pixel binning, the final resolution of the photographs will remain at 12MP. When printed out and stored in the file system, 48MP photos take up much more space. Professional users can utilize the entire 48MP when shooting Pro RAW photographs. However, for optimal performance, this may require better than average lighting. Ultra-wide camera. A bigger sensor was added to the ultra-wide camera to provide 3 times more low-light performance. Its autofocus takes macro pictures when used with the main camera. This lens's actual focal length is 13mm. Although it is slightly more than half of the main camera's 24mm focal length, Apple nevertheless refers to it as 0.5 times in the camera app software. Telephoto camera. The Photonic engine and upgraded ISP enable it to 2 times low-light performance despite the telephoto camera not being updated. This results in improved portrait mode, more excellent low-light zoom, and better video. Additionally, Apple added a new focal length, 2 times or 48mm. This lens is entirely digital and is a 48MP main camera crop. Selfie camera. Even the selfie camera received an update with autofocus, an f/1.9 aperture, and 2 times the better low-light performance. To focus more quickly, autofocus also uses the true depth sensors. Battery life. The video playback durations for the 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max iPhones are 23 and 29 hours respectively. Quickly charge either smartphone at 20 watts for 30 minutes for a 50% battery. Pricing. Both models are space black, silver, gold, and deep purple. One can configure the storage to be 128GB, 256GB, 512GB, or 1TB. The price of the iPhone 14 Pro is $999, while the cost of the iPhone 14 Pro Max is $1,099. Customers started receiving these products on September 16, 2022. Apple iPhone SE 2022. With the 2016 iPhone SE, Apple provided people seeking a tiny phone with what they were searching for. It unveiled a new SE model in 2020 with a more significant form factor and continued to use Touch ID front fingerprint sensor. The 2022 iPhone SE is now offered in 3 colors: Midnight, Starlight, and Product Red at a very reasonable price starting at $429. The most recent iteration maintains the same conventional display size, front Touch ID fingerprint sensor, and single rear camera while adding compatibility for sub-6 5G and an upgraded A15 chipset. With the same hardware, the CPU offers better performance, longer battery life, and more excellent picture results. The iPhone SE has internal upgrades to match the current iPhone 13/14 series. However, it is still fundamentally an iPhone 8. This is the model to choose if you want a less priced and smaller iPhone. We've seen every new iPhone for 2022. Please share your comments about the video in the section below and give it a like if you found it interesting, and also do subscribe to our channel. Check out other videos too. Until then, bye.